Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the special town board meeting for the town of LaPointe to order. It is Thursday, August 27th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Take a roll call. Mike Anderson.
Here.
Amy Baxter.
Here.
Samantha Dobson.
Here.
And John Carlson.
Here.
And Glenn Carlson here. And we've got our town clerk, our town administrator, our zoning and planning and grants administrator. We also have with us members of the TPC to discuss the zoning ordinance later in the agenda. Is there any public comment? Go ahead, Charlie.
Since 3 of the 5 town planning commission members are seated at the table, I was wondering if I could recognize under the discussion of the zoning ordinance rewrite when it comes up on the agenda. And a few other things for foods for thought. Foods for thought is under R2 residential district. I know we've received letters from Alex and George Hecker regarding multi-household dwellings being permitted. And they also have a long list of other property owners in R2. R2 is a kind of a small zoning district. And I think them asking to remove that multi-household dwelling is a good idea. And then under on page 51, under the above ground holding tanks, which I don't personally see a problem for, but I don't think the sanitary district ever got back to the TPC whether or not they were going to accept that waste or not. And if they're not going to accept it, just as long as people utilize that service, realize it's going to be expensive to take it off island. And I just don't want to see people diverting waste from that tank onto the ground saving on.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Any other public comment?
Is there going to be discussion or?
This is discussion with, by the board.
Right.
We're going to be talking and asking different board members. Will have questions for the folks who are on the TPC and who were very involved in the drafting. I do have a public comment to read from Jean Mesher and Paul Guerin. Dear Town of LaPointe, with regard to the request for vacation of 6th Street, we would like to apologize to the board for the amount of time spent on this issue. Our intent was to simply clean up the records and proceed to fully vacate this abandoned street in anticipation of selling lots 2 and 3 of CRM 234, referred to as 916 Whitefish Street. The question of a need for a cul-de-sac at or near the end of Nebraska Row came as a surprise to us during the July hearing and appears to be a separate issue. The rationale mentioned was that once a school bus got stuck and once an EMS call went to the wrong address due to incorrect signage. Not sure how this relates to the need for a cul-de-sac. Please understand that we do not believe that anything needs to be done at or near the end of Nebraska Row, as reiterated during our meeting with Rich Kula last Friday. However, we said that if a widening was deemed necessary, the most logical action was to remove the hedge currently located on lot 3 adjacent to Nebraska Row. This could provide additional space to facilitate snow removal activities and also be considered as part of a future driveway onto lot 3. It was not our intention to suggest that a significant portion of lot 3 be condemned for any use. We hope this clarifies these two issues. Sincerely, Jean Mesher and Paul Guerin. And Charlie, after your letter, do you want that read aloud or just?
As long as everyone received it, that's fine.
I think everyone has received it. Thank you. Any other public comment? Anyone? Okay. Moving on, we will take up the 6th Street vacation and alternatives that was discussed 2 nights ago. I was not present. And I have met today with Max and with Rich to sort of go over what the alternatives seem to be. Rich, I don't know if you want to elaborate on
Just real quickly. So I did include a 1-page handout for the town board members tonight. At the meeting on Tuesday, a person who has a signed purchase contract with the seller of the property that faces Nebraska Row had submitted a couple of additional alternatives. And it was important to get those as part of the record, as part of the process. So that one-page handout shows the two additional alternatives that were submitted by that person.
Thank you, Rich. And as I mentioned to Rich and Max earlier today, I don't feel that vacating the street solves the problem of the turnaround that is currently being used by town equipment on private property. And to me, that's one of the driving forces. I don't think that otherwise we have a great interest one way or the other. We don't have a financial interest in vacating the street. We don't have a compelling other public interest in vacating the street. The idea that, just leaving it as is also doesn't solve that turnaround problem. So either the vacation of it, neither the vacation nor leaving it as is would solve the turnaround problem. I mentioned to Rich today a possible another alternative, which may be a compromise, or may not. And that is, if it is possible for us to vacate a portion of that road in lieu of whoever it is, the buyers or the sellers, paying for that alternative two that you see. So vacating it, but then providing that turnaround in part of that vacated street.
Just like the driveway.
Yeah, and however long it would need to be for the snow plows or the emergency services vehicles.
So you keep saying a problem. You said it 3 times.
Yeah.
So who's saying it's a problem?
Well,
You're talking about Squirt?
No,
When Squirt was here?
I'm talking about Eloise's driveway that we're turning around in.
But I know when Jay was here, Jay said it's not a problem.
Well,
So,
it's not a problem for the fire department because
so you're saying the road equipment, the snow plowing, they go on Avery or Eloise's property to turn around,
right.
and that's the problem?
Yep.
Okay. Have they ever said that that's the problem?
They've told me.
Well, they have.
And they sent Boone to our meeting and the public hearing about 6th Street vacation. Because Eloise was her mother.
That's the only issue that I think, the town, yes, do we vacate the rest of it or not? And I'm not convinced that we should vacate it, but if we did, I think that we'd want to at least have that turnaround in there and have that paid for by one of the private parties that are involved in who would benefit from the vacation of the rest of the street.
Because we're giving them property.
Well, we're vacating that street. It wouldn't be the first time. The town of La Pointe has never done anything to that street since we've been in existence, since this town has been a town.
Mhm.
We've never done nothing with it.
Mhm.
And so by vacating it, we're adding, if they sell it and somebody builds, that adds to our tax roll.
Mhm.
That's a plus for us. It's not doing us any good. We're not using it. I do agree that equipment shouldn't go on private property to turn around.
Mhm.
However, you're saying that the people who are vacating the road, say it again, about who's pay-
Both properties, right, benefit from the vacation of that road, both properties that are adjacent to the road, to the platted road, to 6th Street. Okay, they split the road right down the middle. Right, one parcel gets half of it, the other parcel gets the other half. Is that my understanding?
That is the most common way of doing it.
So you're talking about putting a turnaround of some sort on the end of Nebraska Road. I'm just trying to.
Where
it's
Sixth
trying to
Street is.
get in your head.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Mike, it's right here. So here's Nebraska Row.
Right.
Here's one parcel. Here's Sixth Street. I'm saying carve this out and have that be the turnaround, okay, and vacate the rest of it. And vacate the rest of it if they will pay for it.
So what's this over here then?
I forget that. That's also on private property. That's not gonna work.
Okay, got it.
Well, if they use that alternative, when they back up, they're gonna have to use a private driveway.
Um,
Isn't that going to, they come here, they back up, they got to back into private property.
you know, the idea is they're snow plowing
Yep.
and then they're backing up here and going back.
They're backing, oh, they're gonna back in and then push the snow out?
You know,
Usually they would drive in.
Yeah.
And then pull in, back up, drive out. So then they're still using this person's driveway.
yeah, that's
Well, then,
yeah.
then
that may
let's
be a-
just take care of the obvious. Let's just put in this street.
I don't think anyone wants to spend that kind of money,
Well, no,
you know, so, anyhow,
but I don't believe it's fair to now have an owner that came to us because, I mean, did they write a complaint or did they just talk to you in person?
just in person.
Well, they should write the town board so we all know and that's their complaint.
They did at the public hearing. Through who?
Right, but the owners, did he have a letter saying that he was representing them? He had permission to
You did not
represent
have
them?
assigned anything.
No.
He just said it verbally.
Right,
And John, many times we rely on what people tell us and don't require a document before the town board. I mean, I can tell you many times people have said, well, I've heard from a lot of people. Anyhow, I don't know that we can come up with a resolution tonight. Rich has talked to the town attorney and he has said that this idea of offering to vacate the property in exchange for them providing for the funding to create that turnaround would be acceptable under state law.
so they would be basically funding a public turnaround.
Yes.
For in lieu of the,
And then they get that property, the rest of the street. And they may not want that deal. You know, they may say, forget it. And I think that's the next step is for Rich to, you know, approach them and say, if the town board is at all interested in this option, you know, to have Rich then go to the property owners and say, is this of interest to you?
I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess the way I look at it is, we don't have anything up there now.
Correct.
We don't have anything. And so are we willing to do something? Let's just say that these people say, nah, it's not a good deal for us. We're not gonna do it.
Right.
Are we gonna go ahead and do it ourselves
Um,
now that you brought it up?
I think we have to solve the issue of us turning around on private property.
That's-
Snow plowing.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, yes, we would have to, but I don't think we have to make that decision tonight. You know, I think that that's a separate decision. And, you know, I think, John, they could probably push the snow down that little part of Nebraska Road and then back in and pull back out.
I went up there and looked around and there's the hedges, well, I don't know who owns
That's
those
property.
hedges.
That's private property.
Well, those hedges would have to come out.
Well, right.
Well, I
It-
think they said in the letter that those hedges. could be-
Yeah, they'd have to come out of there. And
But
well, yeah,
these people don't have anything to do with any deal on that side. I don't. believe.
No, the hedges here. Because some of these hedges are gonna be
Oh,
on.
I thought they were talking about over here. To do that.
Oh. No, I think they're talking about all this hedges here.
Oh. Oh,
Where are you pointing at on your paper?
Just under the red line at the
It's
top.
just, well, it's just a little bit above the red line.
This
Yep,
bottom left, okay.
no,
No,
top,
top.
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 Top left,
Yep.
okay.
Well, we need to clarify that, obviously, and presumably that can be clarified when you talk. If, so is the town board interested in having Rich explore whether they're interested in this option?
Yeah,
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it's their option. It's, you know, they can either say no or.
okay, no, they can, totally. All right, well, that's that. And you will let us. What is here. Super. Okay, moving on. Discussion of zoning ordinance rewrite. We have a little wrinkle, in that the version that we've been looking at, the red line version, only red lines the changes made since Rich became zoning administrator. There were a number of changes that were incorporated into the proposal that were made before that. And so we have two kind of separate documents. One is this, 100 some pages, right? That we've all had an opportunity to read twice or three times. And by the way, thank you guys for, this was an extraordinary effort. And I know it took a long, long time of a lot of meetings. So we do appreciate it. What I,
And I take nothing personally, if you take your red pen out.
thank you. And nothing personally is intended if we take our red pen out either. So what I would propose, since we all just received the 4-page, what you're looking at right now, John.
Yeah.
We just received that, and that's all of the changes that were made before Rich got here. Okay, so my suggestion is that tonight we focus just on the 100, questions that we have for Paul and Jim, and then set up another meeting to go through those earlier changes, if that's agreeable to everyone. And I'm just going to, open it up. I would like to suggest that we take turns, and so that we don't, have one person go through every single thing that they've got. Let's go around the table, and pretty much I'd say direct your questions to Jim or Paul, Rich, as to, well, any question that you have.
Well, you don't want people over, like if Amy asks a question that I'm gonna have a question the same as Amy had, I don't want to ask it if she asked it first.
Right.
So
So I think if you ask a question, then John can ask a question, Amy can ask a question, Sam can ask a question.
Glenn, you're screwed. You don't get.
I know. I'm gonna wait till everyone else asks their questions and then see if there are any left over.
you're gonna ask.
So with that, do Rich or Jim, or do you have any comments?
I would suggest that instead of using that system, that we would go through the zoning ordinance section by section. And that if anyone has questions on that particular section, that we address those. That way we can go through the ordinance in an orderly manner. And I think it might eliminate some of the same questions being asked by it.
Well, yeah, we can do it that way too. So, and what I would say then is, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have questions on most of this. Okay, so it may be that we go through page by page fairly quickly.
Right.
If we get to a spot where someone has a question,
And
then we'll defer
Yeah.
to that. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so any other preliminary comments from anyone? So let's just start with page. I think we can
I got
skip
it.
all the way to page 3.
Last week I got a hold of Rich and I asked questions ahead of time.
Mhm.
So I got my answers, basically.
Okay,
Should I ask my questions again?
I
It might help to clarify for the other board
Okay,
members.
that's, okay.
Okay, that sounds good. I thought you were asking to be excused.
I've done my work.
Brewer game don't start till 7 o'clock, so that.
No promises. Okay, we'll start at page 3. And just stop me. I'll just keep going unless someone says I've got a question, and I'll wait a few seconds. Page 3. Page 4.
I had a question for Rich on page 4, and my question was just about a definition. And he explained to me that it was just moved. And it was about the limited time frame for when the document is considered to be filed, and it had been moved. And he explained it to me, and that would answer my question.
Yeah, and for everyone else, that was moved from page 4 to its own definition of filed on page 9. Same wording.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Page 4? Page 5?
Got a question.
John?
Under boathouses, it says shall confirm to all requirements of the Ashland County Shoreline Protection Ordinance, section 7.0. Doesn't our shoreline protection ordinance that supersede Ashland County?
It can,
Because isn't it the most enforceable one?
it will be.
Okay. It's because it's not in here, so I'm wondering why that part of it wasn't, in there. So like if somebody's gonna do something with the boathouse, they know that there's could be two different things they have to deal with.
Rich.
We can look at that. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Rich, we don't have that in our copy here. There's no boathouse definition. I don't know which copy we have. This is from June 8th.
I'm looking at an August 6th.
I'm looking
Yeah,
at
this is
August
new.
6th.
Yeah, we got
August 6th.
Be on the table over there. This August 6th one. It should be the months. Oh,
So I think somebody borrowed them. It was
Yeah,
there.
let me go, continue on with questions. I'll
Sure.
quickly bring her.
Okay, thank you. And do you need one, Paul, as well?
Yeah, he'll probably get one.
Okay. Does everyone else have the August
Would you
6th?
like to share this one while we go through it?
I
I mean,
I can look at the one
I
that
do.
Rich has there until he gets back.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else in the audience need a copy of the August 6th? Are you guys looking at the August 6th version? Okay,
So what was the question on the boathouse?
On the boathouse, it,
Page.
for the, it says it shall confirm to all the requirements of the Ashland County Shoreline Protection Ordinance, section 7.0. Now, we also have our own shoreline protection to supersede Ashland counties. We had that voted into the state, wasn't it, Glenn?
yes.
That whole ordinance needs to be revised too. Because there's,
State one?
no, the one that we have, the town. The town of La Pointe has a shoreline regulation.
Right.
That has to be revised because there's a lot of definitions in that document that will not adhere to this. So it's got to be revised to coincide with the zoning ordinance.
Well, it's-
So Jim, just to.
Go ahead.
Yeah. My understanding, there is a state law that exempted the town of La Pointe specifically from other state laws relating to shoreline protection and gave us, I believe, the ability to have a stricter
Yeah,
provision than what the county has. And I think that's what John's talking
Yeah.
about, is to make sure that we preserve the stricter definition somewhere.
yeah, if it's for shoreline, this would be on the shoreline of boathouse.
So if we were in include language, I would say, it shall conform to all the requirements of the town of La Pointe shoreline ordinance and the Ashland County.
I think that, yeah, both,
Both?
the stricter.
This would be the stricter.
Right. The reason we reference the Ashland County Shoreline Protection Ordinance is that some of those definitions where they address setbacks and such are not in our shoreline ordinance.
Okay, well, I think we should include the town one too, so who's ever, and then
Yeah.
I realize there's not that many boathouses anymore, but they know that they're gonna be dealing with two.
For one at our last meeting or 2 meetings ago. So
Right. You know, so they realize that they're not just Ashland County, because Ashland County is pretty lenient compared to what we were.
Yeah, and I said, I would say, John, then that last sentence should say something along the lines of, it shall conform to the stricter of the requirements of the Ashland County Shoreland Protection and the Town of LaPointe
Yeah.
Shoreland Protection, so that it's clear that you don't get to pick and choose which one you
Well,
want.
right, yeah, because they did a lot of work to get us that
Yes,
rule
Yep.
for the state. So-
okay. And there, any other questions on page 5? Okay, page 6. Okay, page 7. Eight. Page 9. Page 10.
Can we go back to page 9 for just a second?
Sure.
Just to keep everybody up to date, I don't have the exact wording with me, but we are going to add a definition for the frontage of a parcel, lot frontage that, and I think that's, Mike, maybe one of the things that you had referenced before. To indicate, it says on our land use permit form that a lake lot, the lake is considered the front, and a non-lake lot, the front is the accessible lot line.
The street
So
side.
we're going to put that also in the definition here because it's not really clear, because you can only find it on the land use permit, and I think it should be in there so people are aware of what is a front
Sure.
parcel.
That makes sense.
So that's
So if they wanted to build way in the back and say, well, this is my front.
right, yeah,
Okay. So you guys are gonna take care of that?
yes, I'm
And
gonna add
that'll
that.
be
Yeah.
in the final that
Yes.
we get. Okay. Any other questions on page 10? And
So,
noted that Charlie's comment about
Yeah.
the sanitary district.
for the whole above ground holding tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out, Charlie. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 15.
I got a question.
Go ahead, John.
For the definition of structure, I would say it's somewhat confusing. I mean, it seems like maybe it could be, I don't know, I didn't write it, so I'm just saying it's for somebody who's trying to figure out what structure is on the town, in the town of LaPointe, it's a little,
I think this is language that was in, pretty much in the old ordinance. We had taken out, part of it and then we put it back in, which is why it's,
Fine.
underlined.
Okay.
And you're right, it is a bit confusing.
Yeah. I,
Legal mumbo jumbo.
well, yeah, and it's like, you know, somebody's coming in for a building permit or something like that, and they're trying to figure out, is it, you know.
And one of the issues was something on wheels, and that is addressed in, in that definition.
Cause I think there was someplace else too, it was. Maybe that was a different definition the guys had, it was just like. Built by frame, 4 walls and a roof or something like that was considered a structure. I forget what that was. But-
substantial completion maybe.
Oh, that's what it was, yes. This, yeah, that's coming up.
Okay.
Very arbitrary.
So any other questions on 15? 16? 17?
I had a question about, on 17, about the shoreline parts, but you guys are gonna switch it to page 9, right?
We're adding that back in.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, got it.
Any other on 17? 18? But it's all about the zoning administrator, so,
We got problems, a question like
Yeah.
that.
okay, 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25.
And I had a question on that, which Rich answered, and it was just that they moved the dwelling, multi-household dwelling down to a conditional use instead of a permitted use. And that was my question.
Anybody else? And you got that answered?
Yep.
Okay. Page 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 31. 2. 33. 34. 35. 36. 7. 38. 39. 40. 41. 43.
Well.
Okay, sorry. 43.
These things apart.
Yes. 44. Okay, gotten out of the districts now, I think, mostly. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. 51. 52. 53. 54. 55.
I've got a question.
Go ahead, John.
Home business, this is 2 parking spaces in addition to parking, residential parking requirements. Now, I looked into the parking requirements here and I didn't see what the
Residential.
regular parking requirements were. I would figure that they'd be in the parking area of this, but I couldn't find them.
I think the residential parking requirements are just for the people living on the property.
Right, but I'm saying in addition to, it looked like to me, when you read it, there's also a requirement for residential parking.
That's at page 54, John.
54?
The top of page under 1, all dwelling units. New,
Shall provide off-street parking either on premises or on adjacent premises.
Okay,
specifically 1A single household dwelling shall provide 2 off-street parking places.
okay,
Thank you, Charlie.
thanks.
Okay, any other on 55? 56? 57? 58? 59? 60? 61? 62? 63? 64? 65? 66? 67. 68.
I've got a question.
Go ahead, John.
The new Class E sign. It said, you know, it's like up to 6 signs. But then over here, it says no permanent off-premise directional sign be erected, advertise a business.
Where are you looking at, John?
No, 60, top of 67, and then bottom of 68. I thought there was no directional sign for businesses outside of the commercial area.
Currently there isn't.
So you're,
I'm just wondering why then that was added.
okay, that's a great question. The why? The purpose?
Um,
The thinking behind creating the Class C signs.
mostly just to give an opportunity to people that, move out here or live here to
Have a home business.
well,
Well,
but also to let people find, especially if, you know, when they're not in the town proper, in the commercial zone, you know, right in town, if they're out of ways. If you have a business out there off of, County Road H, Mill Road, Big Bay Road, that the sign would indicate, like, if you had a business up on North Shore Road. So when you're driving out on Big Bay Road, when you get to that intersection, that's where there would possibly be a sign indicating that there's a business on that way.
My understanding is that there's a state law that regulates tourist-oriented directional signage, and that unlike, you know, other kinds of signage that we may or may not have jurisdiction over as a town. I mean, we certainly have jurisdiction over signage on town roads for sure, and including tourist-oriented directional signs on town roads. On county roads, again, I think we do probably have jurisdiction on things other than tourist-oriented directional signs. But the state law says that for tourist-oriented directional signs, the authority for determining whether those are permitted or allowed or not is the, in this case, it would be the county board. And that there would probably need to be a county ordinance on that topic. And so if we are going to have something in here, I think it needs to sort of comport with what the state law says, and that people be aware that despite what our ordinance may say, that there's a further requirement that it be, and frankly, I think it's probably moot for us to, I mean, I think that our regulation, oriented directional signs, is probably on a county road or a state road, is basically irrelevant.
So what you're saying is that adjacent to the county road, which would be Olive County H.
Mhm.
So we don't have any say in it matter.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Glenn's 100% right on this, is that we don't have the authority to place even one sign
Right.
on a county road.
Yeah.
There would have to be something that would be adopted at the county level, that would allow us to go forward.
Charlie, you have your.
Sorry.
No, well, I know we as a council and commission got some information about the tourist oriented directional sign pods.
Mhm.
And in there, I thought I read where it only applies if the business was off of a US or state highway. We don't have a US or state highway on the island, so I would it applies to us, but if you can get the town board members that same information that you gave us about 2 months ago, so they can read it, I think that'd be helpful, Rick.
Right, there's definitely a little bit more research that needs to be done on this to see what would allow it or what is the roadblock. Yes.
So what Charlie's saying is that it would be like on a US, like Highway 13 is a state highway. And this is a county highway.
Yeah, and there's mileage requirements too that can be a little bit confusing. I think it was 5 miles maybe was.
Oh, and 2,000 visitors or something, I think that you had to have. But Charlie, I might be wrong, and you guys are going to check this out.
Yes.
But that there is a bunch of verbiage in the state law dealing with state highways. And it's quite specific as to like how many visitors you need a year to justify something on a state highway. But then at the very end of that, they said other highways are regulated by the jurisdiction that has that road.
Already having jurisdiction.
Yes, yes. And so in the case of a county highway, it would be the county. Yeah. So
I got one more
go
question.
ahead, John.
So it sounds like you guys knew about that rule before you put this in?
No.
No?
There's been discussion with various people throughout the process. And we believed that there was a path forward with the way that it was structured today. Upon doing a deeper dive today and looking at the state statutes and the DOT guidance, while this may be good if we had that cover from the county with some changes, that we would have to have county input as well. So
So you
We-
just
we-
found that out lately?
today,
Okay,
today.
well, I'm glad you brought it up because you could have passed it and,
Well, I knew about it. So
Okay.
in fact, I'm the one who brought it up to Rich.
okay, good, thank you.
So, and I just wanted to make sure that anyone who is reading our ordinance, doesn't rely on the fact that that's the, end all be all of the, that there is this other requirement in state
Right.
law. So,
Right. And I do have a message in to the county, this afternoon, but
Yeah,
by the time we meet to go over the rest of this, I should have.
you might.
Yeah, because
have to wait
basically
till next week.
from county zone, all we've got is it sounds like a good idea statement, and that's not enough.
right.
Yeah.
It probably has to be an ordinance, probably has to be a county ordinance.
Yeah.
But anyhow, moving on, any other questions on 68? 69? 70? 71? 72? Oh, and by the way, John, I just learned about that signage thing when I did a deep dive like about a week ago.
Sure.
So it was fairly recent. And it was when I was reading through this, I was like, oh, let me check, because it references somewhere it referenced the statute, and that it complied with the statute and anyhow, so that was kind of how that happened.
Cool.
73. 74. 75.
Okay, I had a two-part question on this one
Okay.
for home occupation, and it said 50% of the principal dwelling. So my question to Rich was, who determines what the 50% is? The homeowner or the zoning administrator? And his answer was, it goes by square feet, and the zoning administrator will do it with his ruler or whatever. And that was the answer. So,
You said there was another question?
well, that was
That was a
two-part. Like who determined it and then
Okay.
how.
Okay. Any other on 75? 76? 77? 78? 79? You might get to watch your game.
It's tape. I got the tape recorder.
Okay, 80? 81? 82? 83? 84? 85? 86? 87. 88. 89. 90.
I've got a question. So the substantial completion shall be defined as a stage when the construction project is deemed sufficiently completed to the point where the owner can use it for its intended purpose. I mean, this is another kind of vague.
So maybe UDC certificate of occupancy should,
Well-
should be inserted as
So something like.
as a litmus test for.
I mean,
substantial
you could move into a house with the walls and the roof is up and move in, wrap it in plastic and say it's good.
That's what I did.
I mean,
That was back
if that's
That was
what you
before
want, if that's what you were
UDCA.
looking for in the code or in your ordinance, and that's fine, but were you looking for something? Yeah, you got your UDC or up to the UDC inspector can, his authority can say, well, you're
Yeah, it's
missing a couple lights, but
totally up to
It-
the UDC's
his discretion.
inspector's
Yeah.
discretion.
because he
If you think
usually
some-
gives
Some
the,
wordage should be added.
yeah,
Okay.
he usually gives the written okey dokey once everything's out.
Thanks, John.
John, are you suggesting that, instead of the sentence that says this does not imply a certificate of occupancy has been issued, to replace that with language that says it's been inspected by, or
I think, yeah, yeah,
Well, instead of this does not imply a certificate, it should maybe say this requires that a certificate of occupancy has been issued.
Yeah.
yeah. I think then that covers the town also for any, hey, you told me I could move in.
Treehouse or dwelling.
Well, that's another.
Okay, thank you, John. Any other points on page 90? 91? 92? 93? 94? 95? 96? 97?
I had a question. It was more of it was a suggestion, the ex parte part. because when we do board of review, ex parte has a big part of which I wanted to be, everybody to be on the same page. The zoning committee, you guys and us, just wanted the language to be the same. Just so we weren't, because we're all doing the same thing. You guys, your ex parte, or your paragraphs for your ex parte and our paragraphs for our board review should be the same. Just so we're all working on the same level.
well, it does say ex parte in the
Yeah.
zoning board of appeal. The town plan commission's bylaws addresses ex parte.
Right.
So it's there for the TPC.
And that was my question to Rich, just that we all were out working off the same thing.
I think
so you
it's just in different areas of ordinances and bylaws and such, but it's there.
And I just noticed something on page 97. I think that it is the town board chair that designates the chairperson of the ZBA with ratification by the town board,
Where do you see?
the very bottom of 97. Officers, the town board shall designate a chairperson. The state law actually says the town chair designates the chairperson with ratification by the board. So it's a minor point, but
Okay.
any other on 97? 98? 9? 100? No ones. 102? No 3? No 4? 5? 106? 7? 108? 9?
Is anybody writing down these changes so we don't get all done?
I think Jim is doing that,
I
and
see.
Rich is too, so we got a couple. And I think we're being recorded,
Yeah,
so
I
I forgot that too. Okay,
don't ask me.
we were on 110. Okay, moving to 111. 12. 113. 114. 15. 116. And in 116, on 13.8 under findings, we did, and I can't find it now, but we passed it already. There is another part in the ordinance where it says the commission shall act on all completed or applications within 60 days after filing, or as otherwise specified in this ordinance. And somewhere else in here, you had added, if it is not done within 60 days, the applicant can deem that it was denied for purposes of making an appeal. And so I think you're probably intending that that also be in 13.8,
You're on,
116. And I can't right off the top now point you to where it's otherwise said that.
That would be the intention.
Yeah,
It's just not complete.
yeah,
We've got the 60 days in here.
yeah. And so it's just
Not
that,
the other sentence.
yeah, it's that next sentence. And you had added that next sentence earlier to something. Okay, great. Thank you. Any other on 116? 117? 118? 119? 120? 121? 122? 123? 124? 125? 6? 127? 128? 129? 30? 31? 2? 133? 4? 135? And then we move to the last page, which is the revised mixed use proposal. That map in the back. I have a question, which is really a why. Why is this needed? What is the, and in particular, I guess, so this could potentially increase density in that area. And I'm wondering whether the sanitary district, because that's all outside of, or pretty much outside of the sanitary district, how would they feel about having all these new, potentially businesses along that stretch, dumping their,
Well, you'd have to live on the property in order to have a business. And
okay,
a lot of this is already developed. But it goes to the comprehensive plan and sustainability of being able to live here and operate a business. And our commercial zone is full. So that was the thought process.
has the TPC heard from people who want home businesses, those kinds of businesses along the Middle Road area?
A lot of them already exist under a CUP.
Okay. But no new demand that you've heard of? This is your.
Well, the demand is just a general demand of, where do we go for a business? The commercial zone is full. There's a certain amount of property that's available, but under the care and control of a select few individuals that don't want to part with it.
Thank you. That's just my question. But anyone else have any questions on the mixed use? No. Any other general questions or comments? Anyone? I think we may be done for tonight.
Well, we're done with this section.
Yeah, so the next will be that 4-page memo that was just put out, free changes.
We'll come back with the corrections that everyone has,
You guys did a good job too. I mean, that's a lot of work. I know it took a lot of meetings.
Years.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Lot
A lot
a
of
lot of
zoning
breakfast club.
How many did you go through? 30? Yeah,
Yes, when we meet again, is this could be a special meeting? We do this part of the board meeting.
I think it works better,
Probably
best.
because we don't have to worry about time and, it gives us time to talk back and forth. I think it works best that way.
At a special meeting.
A special
Yeah.
meeting. So we'll set up another one, and ask Rich to coordinate with everyone at the table,
Okay.
so that we can, and it, it doesn't have to be next week.
Yeah, we always have some
Years out.
coming up.
Before, as Rich said this morning, before the snow flies.
Oh,
So pressure.
Okay, thank you all. We do have one other item on our agenda that we need to go into closed session for. So you can be excused and go
Thank you.
enjoy. Yeah, thank you so much.
Very much.
Good job.
yeah. Thank you for reading through the whole.
Yeah.
zoning ordinance.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Thank you for writing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can thank them because we had to read it.
Okay,
But we did too, John.
moving on, is to approve the terms of the Bayfield MOU. And the town board may go into closed session for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties or other specified public business. In this case, it's the Bayfield Memorandum of Understanding for the dock that's used by Ferry Line. After the completion of the closed session, the board will come back into open session to act upon the discussion in the closed session or otherwise complete the business of the meeting before adjourning. And I think the intent is that we will come out of closed session and vote on the terms of the Bayfield MOU. So, is there a motion to go into closed session for this purpose?
Make a motion for question for this purpose.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. This is a roll call. Mike Anderson.
Yes.
Amy Baxter.
Yes.
Samantha Dobson.
Yes.
John
Session.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are back in open session. And we do have an item from closed session to consider and vote on. And that is a motion to approve the terms. We don't have the actual MOU drafted in front of us. The attorneys, in fact, just finished it today. But we'll get the actual document, but the terms being payment of $4,750 a year to the Bayfield Harbor Commission, including 2025, with the cost of living adjustment that we discussed, and very few limitations other than we won't use it on a daily basis or simply for convenience, but, you know, water levels, Coast Guard,
Weather storms.
construction that we have going on.
Yep.
We're raising or lowering the ramps. I mean, all of that stuff we can use. And when possible, and when we know ahead of time that we're gonna need that, we will let them know. But, you know, if it's weather or Coast Guard or, you know, some emergency that comes up, some, you know, we gotta do something quickly.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the city of Bayfield for the dock usage.
The terms, anyhow.
At the terms for $4,700.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.